Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I wanted to share something that might change the way you think about speaking English. Have you ever felt nervous when trying to speak? Like the words are in your head, but they just won't come out? You're not alone. Millions of learners feel exactly the same way. But here's the exciting part. Speaking naturally isn't about being perfect. It's about building confidence, habits, and rhythm that let your English flow freely. Fluency does not come from memorizing every grammar rule or knowing every single word. In fact, even native speakers make mistakes every day. The real difference is confidence. Confident speakers keep going even when they make mistakes. They don't stop or freeze, they focus on communication. And that's the mindset you need. Fluency equals confidence plus consistency, not perfection. One of the most powerful ways to improve quickly is by imitation. When you imitate real speakers through a technique called shadowing, you train your ear and your mouth at the same time. All you need to do is listen closely to a short video or podcast and then repeat immediately after the speaker, matching their rhythm, intonation, and speed. At first, it feels challenging, but over time, you'll notice that sentences start to roll off your tongue more naturally. I had a student, Elena, who used this method every morning. After a few months, her friends told her, "You sound different, more natural." That's the magic of imitation. But you don't need long study hours every day. What you really need is micro practice, short, focused bursts that fit into your routine. For example, pick one useful phrase like, "Could you help me with this?" and repeat it 10 times in different moods: happy, surprised, tired. Then try using it in a real or imagined conversation. At the end of the week, you'll have 7 new phrases you can use without hesitation. Small, consistent practice creates big results. As Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. The next step is to make English part of your daily life. Don't limit English to textbooks. Change your phone settings to English, narrate your daily activities, watch your favorite shows in English, or even sing along to songs. The more English you surround yourself with, the more natural it will feel. Imagine brushing your teeth while saying out loud, "Now I'm brushing my teeth." It might feel silly, but over time, you'll stop translating and start thinking directly in English. If you don't have anyone to practice with, don't worry. Self-talk is your secret weapon. Talk to yourself in English as you cook, walk, or plan your day. Describe what you're doing, ask yourself questions, and answer them in English. One of my students, Ahmed, practiced self-talk for 3 months. Later, when he spoke with a native speaker, he said it felt like he had already rehearsed the conversation many times before. Of course, sometimes you'll hit a speaking block. You'll forget a word or feel stuck. When that happens, don't freeze. Keep going. If you forget the word umbrella, just say the thing for rain. Use filler phrases like "let me think" or "what's the word" to give yourself time. Mistakes are not failures, they are opportunities to learn. As Henry Ford once said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." Eventually, you'll want to practice with real people. If you don't know any native speakers, that's okay. Find speaking partners online, join a language exchange, or even practice with friends who are learning English too. The key is not their level, but your consistency. 10 minutes of speaking every day is far better than 1 hour once a month. And here's a little secret. Teaching others what you've learned is one of the fastest ways to improve your own fluency. So here's the roadmap. Build confidence, not perfection. Use shadowing and imitation. Practice with small, daily steps. Surround yourself with English in your everyday life. Break fear with self-talk. Push through speaking blocks by staying calm and creative. And when possible, connect with others to practice regularly. Remember Winston Churchill's words. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Your journey to fluency doesn't take years. It starts now, in this very moment, every time you open your mouth and speak. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this gave you encouragement and practical steps to move forward. If you found it helpful, share it with a friend who's also learning. Keep practicing, enjoy the process, and I'll see you next time. Bạn có muốn mình viết lại theo giọng văn gần gũi, giản dị hơn? Kiểu truyền cảm nhẹ nhàng, dễ nghe, giọng podcast từ sự, hay giữ phong cách truyền cảm hứng, giáo trình như trên? Bạn đã nói, viết độ dài tương tự như bài viết mẫu tôi đã đưa ChatGPT đã nói. Rõ rồi, bạn muốn mình viết một bài podcast script mới, liền mạch, độ dài tương tự bài mẫu bạn đưa, khoảng 6 chương mở đầu plus kết thúc, tầm 4.000 plus 4. Nội dung vẫn xoay quanh việc học nói tiếng Anh, nhưng với ý tưởng và ví dụ mới, để không bị lặp lại nguyên văn bài mẫu. Mình sẽ triển khai một bản mới, đầy đủ, liền mạch như bạn yêu cầu. Hello everyone. Today, I want to share something that can completely change the way you think about learning English. For many people, learning a new language feels like climbing a mountain. You study grammar, you memorize words, you take notes. But when it comes to actually speaking, suddenly everything disappears. The words don't come, your mind goes blank, and you feel nervous. If you've experienced this, you're not alone. Most learners face this exact challenge. But the truth is, you don't have to stay stuck. Speaking English fluently is possible for everyone. It's not about being perfect. It's about building habits, confidence, and rhythm. Think about this. Fluent speakers are not people who never make mistakes. In fact, even native speakers make mistakes every single day. They forget words, they correct themselves, they use the wrong grammar sometimes. The real difference is that they don't let those mistakes stop them. They keep talking. They trust that communication matters more than perfection. And that's the mindset we're going to build today. Confidence is the foundation. Without confidence, even the words you know will feel locked inside your head. But confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you create. Every time you speak, every time you push yourself a little further, your confidence grows. The more confident you feel, the easier it becomes to open your mouth and let the words flow. Now, how do we build that? One of the most powerful techniques is imitation. Imagine a child learning their first language. They don't read textbooks. They don't memorize rules. They listen, they repeat. They copy the sounds of the people around them. That's how they become fluent. You can use the same approach. It's called shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and repeating immediately after them. You match their tone, their rhythm, their intonation. At first, it feels difficult. Your tongue may trip over the words, but with practice, your brain starts to recognize the patterns. Soon you'll find yourself speaking without thinking. I once worked with a student named Lucas. He was shy, always worried about making mistakes, but I introduced him to shadowing. Every day, he listened to a short story and repeated the sentences out loud. After a few weeks, something amazing happened. He no longer paused when speaking. He no longer translated in his head. He simply spoke. His friends even told him he sounded more confident and natural. That's the power of imitation. But here's the good news. You don't need long hours of practice to improve. You just need consistency. This is where micro practice comes in. Instead of studying for 3 hours once a week, try practicing for 5 or 10 minutes every single day. Short, regular practice is far more powerful. For example, pick one phrase like, "Could you explain that again?" and use it in different situations. Repeat it out loud while walking. Say it again while cooking. Pretend you're in a meeting and use it naturally. By the end of the week, you'll own that phrase without hesitation. Do this with different phrases, and soon you'll build a library of natural expressions. Fluency is built through repetition. Just like learning to play guitar or ride a bike, your mouth and brain need to practice the pieza and sia. Same movements over and over until they become automatic. Repetition may sound boring, but it's the secret to speaking without hesitation. One of my students, Maria, used this technique with simple sentences. She practiced saying, "I'm going to the store 5 times every morning in front of a mirror." Then she changed the context. "I'm going to the library. I'm going to the park." After a month, those structures rolled off her tongue without effort. That's what repetition does. But repetition doesn't have to be boring. You can make it fun. That's the next big step. Turn your English practice into something enjoyable. Play games with yourself. Role play situations, pretend you're ordering food at a restaurant or giving directions to a stranger. Act it out, smile, laugh at yourself. When practice feels like play, you'll want to do it every day. I had a student, Kim, who loved cooking, so I asked her to explain her recipes in English. She described each step while preparing meals, as if she were hosting a cooking show. She wasn't just practicing, she was having fun. And the result? Her fluency improved faster than she ever imagined. Another fun way to practice is through self-talk. If you don't have a partner, talk to yourself. Describe what you see. Comment on your actions. Plan your day out loud in English. It may feel strange at first, but self-talk is incredibly powerful. You're giving your brain a chance to practice forming sentences in real time. One learner, Amir, told me he practiced English every morning while brushing his teeth. He would say things like, "Today I will go to work. I feel a little tired. I hope it doesn't rain." At first it was simple, but after a few months, his sentences grew more complex and natural. Self-talk transformed his fluency. Of course, sometimes you'll hit a wall. You'll feel stuck, you'll freeze, or you'll forget a word. That's normal. Don't let it stop you. Instead, find ways to push through. If you forget a word, describe it. If you can't remember backpack, just say the bag you carry on your back. If you forget microwave, say the machine that heats food quickly. Communication is always possible. Remember this quote from Henry Ford: "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." Every mistake you make is proof that you're learning. And remember, pauses are natural. Even native speakers pause, say, or take a moment to think. Don't expect yourself to sound like a machine. Speaking is about connection, not perfection. Eventually, though, you'll want to take the next step. Speaking with real people. If you don't have native speakers around you, that's okay. The internet gives you endless opportunities. Join online language exchanges. Find a partner on apps or websites. Even practice with a friend who is also learning. The key is not their level, but the consistency of practice. 10 minutes of real conversation every day will do more for your fluency than 100 pages of grammar exercises. Here's another secret. Teaching helps you learn faster. When you explain something to someone else in English, you strengthen your own understanding. So if you have a friend who also wants to practice, teach them what you know. Correct each other. Share new words. You'll both grow together. Now let's talk about mindset. Learning English is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel great. Other days you'll feel stuck. That's normal. What matters is persistence. Winston Churchill once said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." Every time you speak, you're building courage, and courage is what leads to fluency. So here's what you need to remember. Fluency is not about perfection, it's about confidence. Build confidence by speaking every day, even for just 5 minutes. Use shadowing to train your ear and your mouth. Practice with micro steps and repetition. Make English a part of your life by narrating your actions and having fun with role play. Break fear with self-talk. Push through speaking blocks by staying calm and creative. And when you're ready, connect with others to practice. Your journey to fluency doesn't take years. It starts now. Every word you speak, every sentence you try is a step forward. Don't wait until you feel ready, because you may never feel ready. Start today, right where you are. Speak, make mistakes, laugh, and keep going. Step by step, habit by habit, you will become the speaker you dream of being. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope this talk inspired you to take action and believe in yourself. If it did, share it with a friend who's also learning English. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Millions of learners are walking the same path, and you can walk it too. Keep practicing, stay positive, and I'll see you again soon.